Hey, welcome back everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K. So I figured before I jump into Assassin's Creed Black Flag, let's check out Assassin's Creed Shadows. And this is PS5 Pro version, of course. And looking at the PS5 Pro version, I have to say it looks very solid. It's performance mode, 60 frames per second. See, it doesn't tell me exactly what the features it has, like what type of advanced ray tracing, or is it even advanced ray tracing, or just some ray traced, lighting shadow. It doesn't tell me any of these details. I would have to basically go into Digital Foundry and see all those details. But it does have PSSR. Here, let me show you. It's performance. So basically, let me lay out to you what it has. It has a performance which gives you the 60 frames per second at a lower resolution. See, I don't know what the resolution is, but it's a lower resolution. Then the PSSR is turned on, and then balanced has visual fidelity similar to quality mode at 40 frames per second. Quality mode is recommended to prioritize resolution and graphical fidelity. Now, quality mode, it gives you like a 40 frames, but you know what? It doesn't even feel like a 40 frames. I tried the quality mode. Yes, it looks good, but man, I cannot play anything below 60. I'm sorry. You know, I don't care that it looks eye candy and all that beautiful, but I cannot play anything without uh, minimum 60. Anything below 60, forget it, especially for a game like this. So I choose the performance mode. Now, the reason I'm revisiting this game is because this is very important to point out. So you look at Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then you look at Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Two different things, right? It's the same company, Ubisoft, but also different developers. However, what you do realize with the Assassin's Creed Black Flag is that developers chose to take more of the advantage of PlayStation 5 Pro hardware. And even Sony has made a advertisement commercial with the PS5 Pro advertising Assassin's Creed Black Flag that they're utilizing full features of PS5 Pro. But see, this is the thing. And even Digital Foundry talked about this. When it comes to third-party games, it's kind of a hit and miss. Hit and miss. Not every third-party game is going to be utilizing full features of PS5 Pro. Understand this, and it's true. When you buy a PS5 Pro, the best experience is going to be with PlayStation 5 exclusives. PlayStation 5 exclusives will always look the best because they will take the full features of PS5 Pro. However, that's not the same with the third-party games. Some third-party developers choose not to use too much of PS5 Pro hardware features. Some they do, some they don't. Some they just utilize PSSR and they use the performance mode and maybe a little bit of fidelity mode. So that's something that's very important to emphasize on. You know, yes, PS5 Pro has the juice, has the power, but you can't expect third-party developers to be obligated to use, all of the PS5 Pro features. So that's something that you have to keep in mind when you purchase PS5 Pro. Yes, first-party games are going to look amazing because they're Sony's first-party PlayStation exclusives. But when it comes to third-party games like this one and many others, it really depends on what kind of deal do they have with Sony, or if the third-party developers choose to make their game look better on a PS5 Pro. But see, that's the thing. It's like Richard from Digital Foundry said, they're not obligated to utilize all the features of PS5 Pro. But regardless, the games still play better. even if they don't fully utilize full features of PS5 Pro, the games still look better. They play better, they look better, and they're just better.
This is no place for the likes of you.
All right, well, we're not gonna pick a fight with these guys. The games play better. Even this one, it's 60 frames per second. So hey, dude, as long as I have that 60 frames per second performance mode, I'm good. You know. Um, but do I expect developers to be obligated to take the advantage of the PS5 Pro hardware? Of course not. Now, I don't know all the details. I haven't looked at the details. I'm sure you guys probably know this better than me. I haven't checked all the details in terms of, you know, all the nitty and gritty of what Assassin's Creed Shadows has in the performance mode versus fidelity mode versus balance mode. I have to watch the Digital Foundry to look at all the nitty and gritty details. But hey, as long as I have a 60 frames per second, that's all I care, dude. I'm at the point right now where I cannot play anything below 60. Um, and I think this will bother me with a little bit with a GTA 6. I mean, of course I will play it. I have no choice. But I hope that PS5 Pro can squeeze 60 frames per second. I don't know if that's going to happen, you know, but it would be nice. That would be wonderful if they could do that. Let me It's been a while since I played this game. There's there's supposed to be an access here somewhere for me to enter this place, but I can't find it. Um, anyway, I'm not like doing a gameplay of a mission here. I'm just like giving you my analysis on what I think about uh, the Assassin's Creed Shadows. To me, Assassin's Creed Shadows doesn't look that much different than the PS5. I'm being honest. It doesn't look that much of a difference. I don't think you're gonna see like a drastic difference between the base PS5 and Pro version. But again, that's not the fault of the hardware. That's the fault of the developers. They choose not to utilize features of PS5 Pro. So, you know, that's not like the fault of the hardware.
My grappling hook will get me up there.
But look, 60 frames per second. Now, wait a minute. The base PS5 doesn't have 60 frames per second. You see, so the base PS5 doesn't have a performance mode. They only have a fidelity mode, right? They only have like 30 frames per second with fidelity. They don't have a performance mode. Here we have a or I don't know. See, I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. See, because I haven't done my research on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know. My whole point here on this video is um, this is a great example of where developers, third-party developers, you can expect them to be obligated to you can expect them to be obligated to utilize the features of PS5 Pro, you know. And I wish that they would like tell you exactly what they have in there. I just feel it's kind of lazy from developers. Like you couldn't tell me, okay, what's the performance mode? Is it ray tracing, right? Or is it not ray tracing? Um, but then again, they're not obligated to do that, so I can't really blame them.
I can throw a kunai one-handed.
But you look at Resynced, right? Same company, Ubisoft. Resynced, they told you that it's ray tracing, and they're using a much higher resolution with a 60 frames per second with ray tracing and a higher resolution. But then you look at this game, and they're not telling you what's in there. You have to basically look at Digital Foundry to find out. I'm just simply saying, um,
There it is.
this is something that Digital Foundry talked about when they were doing their podcast, and they said people need to understand that
That's not the box they stole from me. I need to keep looking.
this is going to be always an issue when it comes to PS5 Pro and the third-party developers. Third-party developers are not obligated, right? As they shouldn't be obligated to do any extra goody for PS5 and PS5 Pro. I mean PS5 Pro, I'm sorry, PS5 Pro. Because unless they have a deal or unless Sony pays them extra money to utilize the features of PS5 Pro, that's different. Like, there's certain games like Cyberpunk and First Light and Assassin's Creed Resynced where they have a little bit of a deal with a Sony, but that's not going to be the case with every game. Okay, but look, I'm still happy with a 60 frames per second here. I just wish if I knew if there's a ray tracing. It would be nice if they have indicated. You see, they don't indicate like what it has. The only thing they tell you is like performance prioritize higher frame rate. Okay, but besides higher frame rate, what else? Is there advanced ray tracing? What type of ray tracing? Nothing. And then balanced tells you that it has a 40 frames per second that's similar to the quality mode. Okay, so it fluctuates between 30 to 40, I guess. I don't know. And then quality is recommended because prioritize resolution and graphical fidelity. So you're getting a higher resolution with the graphical fidelity. Yes, it looks great, looks nice, but it's 30 frames per second. And I don't care about the eye candy. Like I said, I don't care that it's beautiful and sharp and detailed. Anything below 60, I cannot play. Okay, but see, this is the thing. I wish that they would actually tell you what it has, but they don't, because I guess they're not obligated to tell you. But I also feel this is lazy from developers that they wouldn't tell you. Okay, if you're taking the features of the PS5 Pro, why so lazy? Why not tell me what you have? And again, I'm not trying to criticize developers too much on this because they're not obligated to do any extra favors for PS5 Pro. But at the same time, it would have been nice if they have done so, if they had told me what they have. I'm not ready for these fights, but anyway. I don't want to spend too much time. I already spoke enough here regarding the Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I said, I'm not like super impressed with the Assassin's Creed Shadows, to be honest. I just felt that they could have done more. Maybe explaining to me what it has. I don't know what they have here. I have to look at Digital Foundry. Um, I don't know, man. I don't see like a drastic. I mean, I don't see that like a big difference here between the base PS5 and PS5 Pro on the Assassin's Creed Shadows. And again, that's not based on what that's like based on what I'm seeing. Of course, Digital Foundry, I'm sure they will uh, explain all these details, but I just don't see those details. Uh, I don't know. I just don't see that like a major difference, to be honest with you. What I'm simply trying to say, I'm not impressed by Assassin's Creed Shadows. If I can be like totally honest, I'm not impressed. Like I expected more, like from a PS5 Pro enhancements. I mean, Jesus, the game's been out. I mean, this game's been out for a while, and the hardware of PS5 Pro has been out for 2 years. But then again, this goes back to the statement that I made earlier, and the statement that Digital Foundry has made. They're not obligated to do any special favors for PS5 Pro unless Sony pays them. So, and you will see once we jump into Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, you will see a difference. But that's a remake. That's a remake of the original, and I guess they had a little bit of a deal with Sony. But here, I don't think there was any deal made with Sony, and of course, you can't expect developers to be obligated to do anything special, extra features. Now, there is a pro enhancements here, but I personally don't think it's that much of a like difference. You really not going. This is not like going to be the game for you to tell a difference. So yes, it plays better. It looks nice. It plays better. It looks nice. Any game will look better, play better on the PS5 Pro, but I don't think you're going to see like some sort of a drastic difference. So, like I said, it plays better, looks good. I just don't think I just don't think it looks that, you know, significantly like better or sharper in detail or yeah, the performance is 60 FPS, but you have a performance on a PS5 regular version. I don't see any of these little nuances that again, if I have to use a magnifying glass to see some small nuances, to me that's not a worthy upgrade of a difference. Okay, you got to do more than that. You got to go like a higher resolution with a higher frame rate, and then use the advanced ray tracing. Then we're talking. Okay, like on a Spider-Man and a Ghost of Yotei, you can tell that difference. But here, but again, I don't want to waste your time. Okay, I just want to end the video by saying this. Like Digital Foundry says, they're not obligated to. Third-party developers are not obligated to utilize all these extra features for PS5 Pro unless they have a deal with the Sony and Sony pays them. Okay, so Assassin's Creed Shadows, it looks good, plays good, but I don't think you're gonna see like a drastic difference between the base PS5 and PS5 Pro. Both they have performance mode, so if you can enjoy 60 FPS on the base PS5, I don't think you're gonna see like a. If you like, what I'm trying to say is this: if you are upgrading to PS5 Pro because of the Assassin's Creed Shadows, you're not gonna see much of a drastic difference. That's all I'm trying to say. But that's not because of the PS5 Pro hardware. That's because of the developers choose not to utilize all of the extra accolades of the PS5 Pro. That's not the fault of the hardware. It's like Digital Foundry says, it's the fault of the developers because they choose not to. Like, here's a drastic difference. You look at Resynced, Well, maybe Sony paid them a little extra money. So okay, we got paid a little extra money. Okay, let's use the features of the PS5 Pro. But that's not the case here, you know. And that's always going to be a hit or miss with a third party games. And I think this is the important part that I'm trying to emphasize. And I know this video is 20 minutes, but the important part I'm trying to emphasize on here, this is always going to be the caveat. The caveat's going to be not every third party game. Yeah, there's so many PS5 Pro enhanced games, but how good do they look? Right? Are they just using PSSR? Or are they using advanced ray tracing with a higher resolution, higher frame rate? See, that's always going to be a hit and miss with a third-party developers, because third-party developers are not obligated to do anything extra special for PS5 Pro unless they have a special deal with Sony. So keep that in mind when you purchase a PS5 Pro. If you purchase a PS5 Pro, you should purchase it for the first-party PlayStation exclusives, because the first party PlayStation exclusives are always going to be the best demo to showcase what the PS5 Pro can do. But when it comes to third party games, understand this, it's going to be a hit and miss. Okay, not all of them going to utilize the features of the PS5 Pro. That's exactly what Richard from Digital Foundry actually said, and I agree on that. Well, actually, not only do I agree with that, I can see that because I can experience it now. All right, so that's the video. This is what I think. Look, it still plays good. It's 60 frames per second. The only thing that sucks is they're not telling you exactly what's the difference between the performance mode on the PS5 base and the performance mode on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, how lazy can you be? You couldn't tell me, okay, there's ray tracing on the performance mode, or we're using advanced ray tracing with the performance mode. I feel that's kind of lazy. I have to go through Digital Foundry to find out what they have, which is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to tell me, okay, performance mode has the ray tracing, and the fidelity mode has the higher resolution with ray tracing at the 30 to 40 frames or something like that. But they didn't give out any of those details, which kind of sucks, you know. I find that very lazy. Okay, so then what's the point of you labeling this game Pro Enhanced if you're too lazy to even tell me what it has, right? So I just felt like developers of this game are a little bit lazy that they couldn't even tell you what the details are, what the performance and fidelity mode consist of, right? They didn't do that, which I just felt like whatever, you know. You couldn't do that, really, you know. Come on. Yes, PSSR is turned on, but what about the ray tracing? You're not saying anything about the ray tracing. Same thing with Konami's Silent Hill. They don't tell you anything. They don't tell you what the performance mode has and what the fidelity mode has. And I just find it very ridiculous and lazy, both for Konami and here, developers of this game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. But then the funny thing is, you look at Ubisoft, other game like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and they're telling you exactly what it has. But that's because I guess they had a special deal with Sony, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the long video, but I just wanted to give you my honest opinion on it, what I think. Like I said, I'm not like super impressed with Assassin's Creed Shadows. It looks good. It's 60 frames per second, but if you have a base PS5, I don't think you're gonna really notice that much of a difference at all, to be quite frank. All right, so that's my honest opinion. Okay. All right, well there you have it. That's the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you very much.